is Class 91.3.
It's the 24th day of the month of June. Good morning and welcome to the Class Breakfast News. The news is live on Class 91.3 FM in Accra, Ho FM 92.5 in the Volta region, Dagbon FM 102.5 in Tamale, Radio 1 92.1 in the Upper West region, Radio 4 96 in Spain. Around the world, join us on classfmonline.com. Coming up in this bulletin, the former Dom Kwabenya Member of Parliament shooting case adjourned to September 23. 9 accused granted bail. The government revoked all firearms permit in major gun licensing overhaul.
Government initiated the gun amnesty program with a clear and urgent objective to confront the threats posed by unregistered and illicit firearms to lives, livelihood, and national development. At the same time, we recognize that sustainable security requires more than enforcement. It demands trust, dialogue, and provision of a lawful pathway.
Leader push for legislation to reserve jobs for persons with disability in institutions.
Same way that we are enacting quotas for gender, we must also enact quotas for disabled persons, so that every institution must show that a certain number of its workers are disabled persons.
Up in this bulletin, Ghana England play out goalless draw in Group L trailer. Meanwhile, some Ghanaians express excitement and pride after final whistle.
I can tell you this is one of the strongest teams that Ghana has ever provided or produced.
The game, it was I'm not going to lie, I was a bit nervous, a bit shaky, but I think we gave our best game. Obviously, England, they're very strong competitors.
Zambia former president's family win latest legal battle over what should happen to his body. These plus many other stories coming your way in the next 15 minutes.
This is the Class Breakfast News.
I am Elizabeth Adrian. Welcome to Class 91.3 FM. Let's settle for the details of the news. Now, the Adenton High Circuit Court has adjourned to September 23 the case involving 9 persons accused in the shooting incident that injured former Dom Kwabenya Member of Parliament Sarah Adwoa Safo. The accused include Nana Kojo Safo Akofuna, Josephat Tamaklu Safo, Kwabena Safo, Benjamin Amwako Safo, and Enoch Bedu, Richard Ajete, Gideon Safo, Nana Kwekwe Friye, and Kojo Safo Kumsen have all pleaded not guilty to multiple charges and were granted bail of 500,000 Ghana cedis each with 2 sureties. Counsel for the Christo Safo mission said the prosecution case is based on allegations of unlawful possession of weapons and involving the prohibited vigilante activities. Prosecutor alleged that the shooting occurred during activities connected to a disputed installation process within the Christo Safo mission following a leadership dispute after the death of its founder, Kojo Safo Kantanka, resulting in injuries to the former Member of Parliament. We are following the story. We'll bring you more details subsequently and right here on Class 91.3 FM. Let's move to some other stories. Now, all existing firearm weapons in Ghana are to be revoked as part of major overhaul of the country's gun licensing regime aimed at strengthening public safety and curbing illegal arms possession. The Minister for the Interior has announced the move follows the end of the gun amnesty program, which resulted in the surrender of 4,068 unregistered firearms. Under the new measures, all gun owners will undergo fresh registration, including mandatory mental health assessment, drug testing, and certified firearm training. The minister said security agencies will intensify intelligence-led operation against illegal arms possession, while government strengthens border control and introduces new measures to improve firearm accountability nationwide.
Government initiated the gun amnesty program with a clear and urgent objective to confront the threats posed by unregistered and illicit firearms to lives, livelihood, and national development. At the same time, we recognize that sustainable security requires more than enforcement. It demands trust, dialogue, and provision of a lawful pathway for citizens to regularize their conduct without fear. I'm pleased to report that this approach yielded meaningful results. A total of 4,038 unregistered firearms were surrendered to the Ghana Police. These outcomes reflect the patriotism, responsibility, and civic commitment of Ghanaians who choose compliance over lawlessness. Indeed, the nation is safer today because of your actions to surrender those guns.
That's the Minister for the Interior, Muntaka Mubarak. Now to some other stories, calls are growing for greater inclusion of persons with disability in governance as Majority Leader of Parliament, Mahama Ayariga, urges political parties to adopt a quota system to increase persons with disability presentation in Parliament. Speaking on the floor of Parliament yesterday, he said the increasing number of persons with disability contesting parliamentary elections would strengthen inclusion and ensure they have a stronger voice in national decision making. He believes the proposal would help advance equal representation and deepen Ghana's democratic process.
Parties as well must make an effort to fill a number of disabled persons so that they will come to Parliament, be in Parliament, and they can voice the concerns of their colleagues. We can say all the things that we want to say about them, but they are better advocates of their situation than we can ever be in this chamber. We must also find a way of making sure that our constitution has a framework that enables us in government to account for the interests, the concerns, and representation of disabled persons in our governance system.
That's the Majority Leader in Parliament, Mahama Ayariga. Meanwhile, the Majority Leader is also calling for legislation to make it mandatory for institutions, factories and public agencies to reserve a percentage of jobs for persons with disability. He said such a policy would help address unemployment among persons with disability and create more opportunities for them to contribute meaningfully to national development while promoting inclusion and equal access to employment for all Ghanaians.
We as a country must consider it as a major national embarrassment when our colleagues have to earn their living at traffic light begging. And so, as a parliament, we must enact legislation which will compel a quota in every factory, in every organization, in every institution. Same way that we are enacting quotas for gender, we must also enact quotas for disabled persons, so that every institution must show that a certain number of its workers are disabled persons, because invariably there's no way that you won't find a disabled person who is qualified on his own to be employee of a certain factory, company or organization. And so we must make it a quota for every agency, institution to ensure that they have a certain number of disabled persons engaged by them.
That's the Majority Leader in Parliament, Mahama Ayariga. To some other stories, the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, has raised concerns over delays in the utilization of common fund resources earmarked for development projects in Ayawaso North. He questioned the Ayawaso North Municipal Chief Executive, Mohammed Awal, over the municipality's failure to deploy funds allocated for the 24-hour economy model. According to him, the District Assembly Common Fund is meant to improve the living condition through essential infrastructure and services in line with the government's development agenda. Speaking during an engagement with the municipal authorities, he expressed concerns that funds released had remained largely unspent for nearly a year, despite several critical projects still uncompleted.
Have a market and you have money, and they say build the market and you don't have land to build it. It means you don't need the money. Parliament, we approved the disbursement formula. We've approved 58 million for you. The actual releases is 42 million. You have used only 10% in 1 year. How old are you now? 1 year. So your 1 year salary has been paid to you. But the 1 year money to be spent on the work was not. So the people are being paid, but the people are not benefiting. Is it fair? Are we being fair to the people? You are paid. You were paid for the 1 year. You see, let me tell you, common fund. The impact on the people is what we will consider. 2025, we've given this money to them. We've moved beyond that. What has been the impact of the money on the people? That's what 2026 we are going to be communicating. John Mama will want to see how many cheap compounds have I built. If you don't have cheap compounds, do you have a hospital within the district?
Yes.
Which hospital? Is it in good shape? Is it in good shape? Yes or no? No. Then they say go and build cheap compound. You don't need cheap compound. You have a hospital. It's not in good shape. Use part of the money to go and put it in good shape.
That's the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim. The Food and Beverages Association of Ghana has strongly opposed the Public Utility Regulatory Commission's latest 3.7% increase in electricity tariff, describing it as unjustified and burden on consumers and businesses already struggling with high production costs. And their rejection comes on the back of the announcement by PRC that an upward adjustment under its quarterly tariff review mechanism, citing factors such as exchange rate movement, inflation, fuel costs, and the need to ensure the financial sustainability of utility providers. But the Food and Beverages Association says the justification does not reflect current economic condition. The General Secretary, Samuel Agri, argued that inflation has dropped below 5%. The cedi has remained relatively stable, and global crude oil prices have also declined.
That way into we made a strong point saying that that was not the right way to go, because we needed some reprieve during that time. And the argument has been that the cost of fuel has gone up, inflation was very high when actual inflation was coming down. And they still went ahead with that. And if you look at the income of Ghanaians and then also the cost of production, then it becomes a bit of a challenge because the price increase. So we made that argument, but yet they still went ahead to implement it. So coming again and asking for an increment of 3.7%, we don't think that is the way to go, because it's also going to escalate inflation, it's going to escalate the cost of production, it's also going to escalate the cost of consumer pricing and consumption part. So we don't think this is the time to do that. And if you listen to the argument that the PRC is making, because every quarter they need to review. If you need to review, look at the indicators that you use to increase the last price inflation.
That's the Executive Secretary for the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, Samuel Agri. Now to the NPP, because aspiring candidates in the new Patriotic Party constituency election can now pick nomination forms without presenting proof of payment after technical challenges hit the party's online system. The directive applies to constituency election committees as part of ongoing internal reorganization ahead of party's constituency election scheduled for July. Under the original guidelines, aspirants were required to make online payment and present proof before collecting nomination forms. However, heavy traffic on the payment portal led to delays and verification challenges. The party has now allowed aspirants to collect their forms first and submit proof of payments later when filing their completed nominations. Director of Communications for the NPP, Richard Ahiagba, has been sharing more details on the story.
Well, essentially, it is to try and facilitate a smooth process. You know, the payments for the nomination forms were meant to be paid online, and so the committee is not handling cash, and people are making those payments. And as of yesterday, the level of interest and people who were going on to make the payment was overwhelming, and then so our systems were coming under some pressure. And so to ease that pressure, the directive was given so that people can go ahead and pick the form without necessarily waiting to be able to get through the payment portal. At that point, that one has to confirm that they have paid for the nomination, get jammed up because people are rushing to make a payment. Also a problem for a smooth running of the process.
That's the Director of Communication for the New Patriotic Party, Richard Ahiagba. Let's do some sports, because Ghana held England to a goalless draw in their Group L World Cup encounter played yesterday in a tightly contested game that produced few clear scoring chances for both sides. The results see Ghana pick up a valuable point against the European giant as they continue their campaign in the tournament. England were frustrated by Ghana's disciplined defensive play, with both sides failing struggling to find the breakthrough before full-time. Antoine Semenyo spoke after the games.
For Ghanaian football to get now into the next round, the knockout stage, what does this represent?
I think it brings back memories for the 2010 generation, to be honest, but hopefully we can push on and do better. So, yeah, we're happy and just got to move on.
Well, that's where you started watching, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2010.
Yeah, it was. It's a classic, to be honest. That's every memory that I have of the World Cup. So, yeah, let's just keep going and see what happens.
That's Antoine Semenyo. But some Ghanaians expressed excitement and pride after the final whistle, praising the Black Stars for their resilience and defensive organization against one of the tournament's favorites.
The game was very nice. This morning I was telling one of my friends that this game we win either 1-1 or goalless. Then my friend was even telling me that they would score us. I said, no, this game, the first game that we played with Panama, you see how the game is. And today that we win the game, it will be a good day.
Right. I'm a Nigerian. I think Ghana has done so well. And I can tell you this is one of the strongest teams that Ghana has ever provided or produced.
Yeah, so we are British Ghanaians, but we've come to Ghana to celebrate our home country. The game, it was very, I'm not going to lie, I was a bit nervous, a bit shaky, but I think we gave our best game. Obviously, England are very strong competitors, so I'm glad that we came to fight, we came to win. We had chances, they were a bit shaky, but the end result, it just speaks for itself. So.
Those are some Ghanaians after the match yesterday. And to some African news, more than a year after the death of Zambia's former president Edgar Lungu, his family have warned the appeal to have his body buried in South Africa, where he died, overturning a high court ruling that allowed the Zambian government to repatriate the corpse. We'll bring you more details on the story subsequently. And right here on Class 91.3 FM for now, this ends the Class Breakfast News. The morning show continues with Kwame Jumo Ajiman and the team. Do stay and enjoy the rest of our programs. For more news and updates, do log on to classfmonline.com. I am Elizabeth Edu. Good morning.
This is the Class Breakfast News.
A lot of the boys are tired, but we knew it would be like that today, and we got the vital point, which was important for us.
The manager said you had a plan, and he had a plan, and you carried it out perfectly.
Yeah, we knew that we'll be defending more than attacking. We wanted to have moments on the counter, but obviously it didn't happen for us as much. But yeah, again, we defended so well as a team today, and it's just props to everyone.
When you had a couple of breaks, one where Pickford had a collision, another where it's off the line. Are you wondering why maybe one or two of those aren't looked at?
To be honest, everything happened so fast, so I'm not being too critical. I'm just focusing on what the team needs to do, and yeah, that's all I can say.
And what worked in terms of your approach that you can take forward now from this?
I think, again, defensively we've done really well today, and we know that we want to keep a clean sheet, but I think also we have a threat going forward. When we go on the counter, we're so quick to go, and hopefully we can show that in the next games.
Yeah, and what about topping the group? Obviously win your next game and see what happens with England.
Yeah, I mean, we're just going to recover now. We're going to take it easy, not get too ahead of ourselves. Anything can happen. But at the same time, yeah, we just want to push on and hopefully get a win.
And finally, for Ghanaian football to get now into the next round, the knockout stage, what does this represent?
I think it brings back memories for the 2010 generation, to be honest, but hopefully we can push on and do better. So, yeah, we're happy and just got to move on.
Well, that's where you started watching, wasn't it? Yeah. 2010.
Yeah, it was. It's a classic, to be honest. That's every memory that I have of the World Cup.
So that was our Ghanaian striker Antoine Semenyo there, following that draw against the Three Lions of England, a draw that is good enough to possibly see Ghana progress to the next stage of the competition. Well, let's get a bit more reactions on what transpired with some of the other players in there, together with the head coach of the team as well, Carlos Queiroz. He's had a thing or two to say following that game last night. We get to hear from the head coach of Team Ghana as well.
To win against a great team, I would say, my humble opinion, England, they can be candidates to win the World Cup. But this is a result, an achievement. First of all, it's a gift for our fans. Also, some of our players that we lost, like Salisu, Zico, Kudus, some players that we lost, Ziggy, we lost injury. It's a gift for them. And most important, it is a gift for the people of Ghana.
Okay, now the first half was a bit of you sitting back and defending. The second half was a bit different. What did you tell the boys at recess?
That's the way to win. When you have to defend, you defend. You cannot play samba when they play rock and roll. That's the name of the game. But the goal was exactly to finish the first half with the English team frustrated, with no solutions. When they went to the half time, they knew they don't have solutions to beat us. And that was when we started to grow up and control the game. And we could score. Unfortunately, we didn't do it, but I think also England could score, so a draw is a fair result.
Okay, now, what does this win mean for you personally and the people of Ghana from your perspective?
Happiness. Win is happiness. But at this moment, we did not win nothing. We just reached the second stage of the World Championship. What's the goal? It's achieved. Now we have to keep going.
Well, that was the head coach of Team Ghana, Carlos Queiroz, there, following that performance against the Three Lions of England. Let's get to hear from some Ghanaian fans as well on what happened against the European giants.
The game was very nice. This one, I was telling one of my friends that this game, either 1-1 or goalless. Then my friend was a bit telling me that they would score us. I said, no, this game, the first game that we played with Panama, you see how the game is, and today that we win the game, it will be a good day.
Right. I'm a Nigerian. I think Ghana has done so well, and I can tell you this is one of the strongest teams that Ghana has ever provided or produced.
Yeah, so we are British Ghanaians, but we've come to Ghana to celebrate our home country. The game, it was very, I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit nervous, a bit shaky, but I think we gave our best game. Obviously, England are very strong competitors, so I'm glad that we came to fight, we came to win. We had chances, they were a bit shaky, but the end result, it just speaks for itself. So England, they're also a great footballing nation. We managed to still stick our ground. We did not let us defeat them. We came to fight, and fight we did, and the draw just shows that. So
Well, you had some Guinean fans following that drawn game against the Three Lions of England. Maybe from this point, we'll see what happens now that we've gotten a result that's putting us in a very, very, very good position to possibly go further and further and further. And I'm sure that's what many Ghanaians will be looking forward to, and hopefully the other results will determine how far we progress into the competition. But it's not only Ghana that has been in action at this year's World Cup in the last 24 hours. There's been a number of games played in there as well. Let me just quickly run you through the results of some of the games that have been played in the last 24 hours. So Portugal, the day started actually with Algeria getting a result against Jordan. That game finished 2-1, and then Portugal defeating Uzbekistan by 5-0. Cristiano Ronaldo with a brace in that game. And then it was England who drew 0-0 with Ghana, with Croatia also defeating Panama by a lone goal. Ante Budimir scoring the only goal of the game. So let me just quickly run you through how the groups are looking like going into the final round of games. And remember, there are up to 12 different groups as far as the World Cup is concerned, the largest we've ever had. So I'll run you through the group standings at this point and also keep you up to speed with the games that are coming up later today as well. All the groups from Group A to Group L. So it's Mexico who currently lead Group A. It's Mexico, South Korea, Czechia, and South Africa. So it's Mexico on 6, South Korea on 3, Czechia on 1, and South Africa on 1. Mexico at this point have qualified for the next stage of the competition. If South Africa would want to qualify, they are playing against South Korea at 1 a.m. tomorrow. 1 a.m. tomorrow. So if you want to see that game, you've got to wake up at dawn to see that. If South Africa are able to get a result against South Korea, then they qualify to the next stage of the competition. It's Czech Republic who also have 1 point, and we're playing against the host Mexico. In Group B, if Canada can avoid defeat, they get to top the group and then, of course, get to play the round of 32 at home. If they lose out to Switzerland, who also have 4 points, then they would have to travel. Bosnia and Herzegovina would also be looking at the opportunity of progressing. They have 1 point, but they are playing against Qatar, who were battered by 6 goals in their game against the host. In Group C, it is Brazil who currently have 4, Morocco have 4, Scotland have 3, with Haiti on no points there. If Morocco gets a point or a win from their game, they clearly would qualify to the next stage of the competition. And then for Scotland, they would have to beat Brazil if they would want to ensure that they don't have any challenges as far as progressing to the next stage of the competition is concerned. In Group D is the United States, who have won all the 2 matches that they played so far at the tournament. Is Australia on 3, Paraguay on 3, and Turkey on no point. In Group E is Germany, who've also won all the 2 matches that they've played. They have 6 points. The Ivorians are 3, Ecuador have 1, and then it's Curacao who also have a single point from their game. In Group F, it is Netherlands with 4, Japan with 4, Sweden with 3, and Tunisia with no point. In Group G, it is Egypt who have 4, Iran have 2, Belgium have 2, and New Zealand have 1. In Group H, Spain have 4, Uruguay have 2, Cabo Verde have 2, with Saudi Arabia on 1 point. In Group I, it's France with 6 points, Norway have 6 points, Senegal have no point, with Iraq on 0 points there. In Group J, Argentina have 6, Austria have 3, Algeria have 3, with Jordan on no point. In Group K, Colombia have 6 points, having won all the 2 games that they've played, so it'll be a cracking one in that final game against Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal in deciding who gets to finish top. DR Congo, they have a single points, but good thing for them, they'll be playing against Uzbekistan in their final round of games. that should give them some hope of qualifying. And then in Group L, is England, who have 4 points, Ghana have 4 points, Croatia have 3 points, with Panama on no points. So in the final round of games, England are going to be playing against Panama, with Ghana playing against Croatia. 4 points should be good enough to see Ghana progress to the next stage of the competition. So now let's get to see the games that are going to be played in the coming 24 hours. So first up would be the game between Bosnia and Herzegovina and Qatar. That game will be on at 19 hours GMT, same time as Switzerland playing against Canada. And then at 10 p.m. it will be Morocco who will be playing against Haiti. So look out for action on that one before Scotland get to play against Brazil. That game would also be on at 10 hours 10 p.m. later this evening. We're going to be having the games being played concurrently because we are in the final round of action. So look out for that, and we'll definitely be keeping you up to speed with all the results of these games.